Having just talked about Detour, I have to once again talk about this book, a wonderful biography by John O'Dowd called Kiss Tomorrow Goodbye, the Barbara Payton story. And I also have to talk about a little bit about Tom Neal himself, Tom Neal and Barbara Payton. Okay, because Tom Neal's life and career was to a large extent derailed by the Eternal Triangle. He and Franchot Tone were both in love with Barbara Payton, actress Barbara Payton. She couldn't make up her mind between the two men, and it's kind of understandable. Franchot Tone was very classy. He was a, entree into high Hollywood society, and he appears to have genuinely loved her and been kind of a father figure to her, a little bit of a Pygmalion to her. Whereas Tom Neal appealed to her basically in a kind of lusty, sexual way. He was a former boxer with a trim, muscular physique. And, she said that hot peppers ran up her thighs when she saw him. Kind of crude way of describing it, but accurate. Okay, so she was very much torn between these two men, and she quite simply couldn't make up her mind between them. She went back and forth. And one day, she brought Franchot Tone back to the place that she shared with Tom Neal. And the two men got into a fist fight, which really wasn't much of a fist fight. Tom Neal, who was an amateur boxer and several years younger than Franchot Tone, simply clobbered the man. He broke his nose, he broke a cheekbone, and he put him in a coma for several hours. Okay, now, this was a horrible thing that happened. It really was. Tom Neal later said he regretted it, but he did it. Okay, and anyway, after that, Barbara Payton married Franchot Tone. Okay, and the marriage didn't last very long because there was a pull to Tom Neal, even though he had brutally beaten another man that she loved. She was still drawn to Tom Neal. And it must have been a terrible thing for Franchot Tone to realize that she had resumed having sex with the man who had almost killed him. Okay. And the marriage of Barbara Payton and Franchot Tone broke up, ended in divorce. She was together again with Tom Neal. However, the two of them got engaged, but they never actually got married. Kind of one of those things. And the other thing is that the two of them were also victims of a very real blacklisting. People in Hollywood sympathized with Franchot Tone. They didn't like Tom Neal because he had brutalized Franchot Tone, and the fact that she went back to Tom Neal meant that the blacklist also applied to Barbara Payton. After a while, neither of them could get a job. And they broke up with each other. And anyway, both their lives went completely downhill. And Tom Neal had previously been married, and he got married 2 other times after the relationship with Barbara Payton was no more. One of his wives died of cancer, and the other wife, he killed her. Now, apparently he was, again, jealousy was a factor. Now, we don't know the exact circumstances because although he was charged with murder, with the possibility of the gas chamber hanging over him, he was convicted of involuntary manslaughter because the jury believed, in essence, that the two of them had fought over a gun. And the gun went off accidentally, killing the wife. Okay, he served, I think it was 6 years. And then he got out of prison, and about 7 months after he was released from prison, he died of a heart attack. Okay, so these are, two stories which are interlinked, or three stories interlinked, and two people who basically lost their careers because of the Eternal Triangle. Barbara Payton, after her movie career ended, eventually she sank into alcoholism and prostitution, sometimes homelessness, most of the time living in a rat trap slum, and both of them died fairly young. Anyway, that's the story of Franchot Tone, Barbara Payton, Neal, two lives ruined by the Eternal Triangle.